Today we are going to learn one of the story, one of the longest story in your book. For story number 8, the blue bit. This story we may learn in a different way. We will try to learn with the help of the major points in the story. The story blue bit. Blue bit, bead means a piece of stone which has blue color. And the story is not related to, directly not related to blue bit. It is related to the bravery of a tribal girl. Her name is Sibia. But in between the story, it has little relationship with the bluebird and the girl. First of all, we should know who is the writer of the story. The story Bluebird is written by Northbrook. Northbrook is an Anglo-Indian writer. Anglo-Indian writer means his parents were from England during British rule. He reached here and he had close relation with the Indian culture and Indian life, especially Indian forest life. Because his writings, almost all the stories he has written related to Indian culture and Indian forest life. Before India's independence, most part of India under forest cover and only cities and villages were highly populated. There, people were afraid of wild animals because most of the villages in India surrounded by forest. So, such a situation, the writer's father, Northbrook's father, came to India as a forest officer. As he was the forest officer, he had got the duty to take care of the forest life, wildlife in India. But really speaking, he did not have the real duty of protecting the forest. He was forced to find out the forest wealth and British government want to get it. So, Northbrook's father was forced to travel through the forest. Sometimes, Northbrook also accompanied her father so that she would have got a close contact with the forest and forest life in India. Actually spent for enjoying wildlife and traveling here and there in the interior part of the forest in India. Anyway, this was the life of Northbrook. So, her writing, her stories, all directly or indirectly related to Indian wildlife and the tribal people, tribal related life and the village life. This story also almost related to the similar type of life. The story Bluebit, the writer Norgo wants to highlight the bravery of a young tribal girl named Sibia. She was 12-year-old girl. She did not have a proper happiness as a 12-year-old girl. She was, in the story, the line is told that she was born for toil. Toil means doing hard work. Really, she was doing lot of hard work for her family, and she did not have any education, any training, nothing was there. From her childhood onwards, she was doing lot of work, especially taking care of the animals, kitchen work, and other day-to-day activities. She did it at home. Then, here we are going to see what happened in this in her life. Sudhya, a tribal girl, means tribal means the people those who were born and brought up in forest and they like to continue their life in the forest. Here, Sudhya is also one like girl, and she born and brought up in forest, and she was very much inclined to the forest life, and not only she herself, many tribal families were there with them. And the background of the story is a summer season, and during summer the forest mostly colored green of the people, the color of the soil, the plants and trees, small trees all around, and their hut and all the related things having the same color, that is the gray color, mostly filled all around. At the same time, there was a river nearby. That river also exposes the same color because the water level was very low. Both the side of the river, both the bank of the river, mostly covered by stones and sand. This sand and rock or stones all having the same color as the color of the soil and the grey covered area mostly. These tribal people mostly depend upon three major income sources. They are, first of all, depend upon forest products, mainly honey, bamboo sticks, and they used to make baskets and all. Like that, forest related product they collect, and sometimes some herbal plants for the Ayurvedic medicine. Is all they collect from the forest, and they may sell in the nearby cities or markets, and they earn little bit money. The second major source of income was the male members in the tribal group mostly try to go to the nearby villages and close by city. They find out some manual labor work, and they earn some money from that. The third income source was a very rare income source. All the forest people, all the tribals were not able to get it. That particular forest belonged people, the tribal people only got it. Recently, a paper mill started working nearby city, and the paper mill needed paper grass, a particular type of grass, long grass, and some engineers came to know that particular type of grass were suitable for making paper, and it was around 100 years back. So heavy machineries to make pulp from wooden pieces were not that much possible. Heavy machineries were very rare. So it was a soft raw material for the soft machineries to make pulp out of it. These pulp were mostly used for making paper. So this was a third income source for the people, those who were living in the forest and the tribal people. Means they were given contract by the agents of the paper mill. Each bundle of grass get were given coins, certain number of coins, and James mostly the male members from the tribal group were not interested to do so because the income is very less and for their hard work it was not profitable. So only ladies during their free time they all together went to the various area of the forest and cut the paper grass from there and made bundles. These bundles they collect together and come to the public road. There the bullock carts were available and they filled the bullock carts. These bullock carts may go to the nearby railway station and the same paper grass will be loaded in the train and the train directly reach the paper mill. Like that the process was going on. So in between many agents and mediators were there and they got maximum profit out of it and these ladies got very less amount of money for their hard work. But as they were poor and there were no other income source, they tried to do maximum work on it and try to acquire money. So like that, they were getting an additional income from their additional work. At the same time, early morning onwards, they had their own duty at home, cleaning, cooking, taking care of the children, taking care of the animals, means domestic animals at home. Like that, so many other activities the ladies were doing. So these are the three different income sources for the ladies. Then they rarely visit, these tribal people rarely visit in the market, especially ladies and children almost never visit in the market. They have nothing to do there. They do not want anything to buy from there. They are mostly satisfied with products from the forest. So very rarely they visit the nearby market. Only the male members, senior male members, very rarely visit the market and very rare things which are unavoidable for their daily life. Only they purchase and they come back. Once Siddhya had an opportunity to visit the market. It was a surprising situation for her because in her life it was the first visit and she looked at each and everything with a surprising mind and very amazingly she observed each and everything. When she reached there, she looked street shops, cloth shop, trailer shop, and especially she observed Kashmiri silk merchants, then ornament sellers, then careless people over there, then bull with religious mark, these all things she observed there. Then first of all we may look at the street shop. She only saw sweets means only honey and honeybee. These were the only sweets she had observed in her life. But when she came to the forest, came from the forest, when she came to the market, she saw sweet shops. And around 100 years back, we should know that there were no glass cases to keep the sweets safe. These sweets were mostly filled with the various flies and mosquitoes all were on the seeds. But Sylvia had no surprise about it because she had only observed honeybees collecting honey and store it in the honeycomb, and she observed that. She thought that in the market also these seeds are made up of the help of these bees and other insects, because she did not have proper education. She did not have any information about these seeds, and she only observed in her life that honeybees are collecting honey and that they may store, and these tribal people collect this honey from the honeycomb. So that was a different vision for her, but she did not understand the reality of the seeds, and the seeds are covered by insects and the various then bees there. These all were really different from honeybee. That I didn't understand. Next was cloth shop. She only used only a set of cloth, and the color of the set of cloth was gray, and she often used it. So she did not have any knowledge about cloth. Here in the cloth shop, rolls of cloth, not ready-made clothes or made stuffs were not there. Only cloth, rolled cloth were there, and it was from the cloth or the cloth factory. It came directly, and it had a stamp on it, and she did not understand what it was, but she saw the roll of cloth, and it had only, the color of the cloth was purely white, and nearby that tailor shops were there, and the tailors were making cloth for the people according to their measurement, and it was also a surprising thing. And these tailors were making very decorative cloth and very different colored cloth, and even mirrors were attached to it, and these decorations and all she observed in her life first time. Then she moved forward. She saw Kashmiri silk merchant. Kashmir is mainly famous for silk and silk products, and this Kashmiri merchant, he was selling silk product, and he had a different type of product she had observed. There was a magical box, and it might have kept an spring inside. She did not know the details of the magic box. When the owner of the box pushed a button, it opened everywhere, and coins were there, valuable stones were there, mostly valuable things almost kept inside, and she observed it, and she thought that it was a magical box. Then she moved towards the seller of ornaments. Means the ornament means not the very costly gold or silver ornaments. It means the butler, he is walking through the street and call for the customers and selling various ornaments, bangles, etc. And she stood there and observed the ornaments. They were having various designs and colors. She was not able to buy it because she did not have enough money, but she observed the designs, and from there she decided to make similar ornaments in the forest. She was able to get varieties of seeds, colorful seeds there, and with the help of that colorful seeds, she was able to make natural ring or natural chain for her neck, and a necklace she planned to make, and there she had seen varieties of stones blue colored, red colored, or yellow colored stone she observed, and she liked to get a blue stone from there, but she was not able to buy that because it was comparatively it was very costly for her, so she did not buy it. Then she observed careless people were sitting here and there in and outside of the shop and making comments and gossiping. There was no serious work for them. They were only passing their time, and some people were making arguments with the shopkeepers and bargaining with them to reduce the rate of various objects. Like that, people also he observed. Then she went forward. She observed a bull which is carried, which is led by a religious person, and he is collecting money from the people by showing the bull, and the bull was decorated, and there was a red mark on its forehead, and it was decorated with red and saffron colored flowers and other mark om and like that mark, religious mark were there to attract the people to get more and more money. Like that varieties of scene she was able to see in the market, and it was a special experience for her life, and she totally surprised to it. Till there, once you go through it, and the order in the book may not be the same, but for an easy way, I have started and described. After describing the full story, you may read from the beginning to end. Then it will be clear. In the beginning of the story, the crocodile life is described there, and according to the order of the story, it may come in the middle of the story. That is why I started from the beginning, and the major character I described here, and her life, then her surprises in her life, all I have observed there. Then what all matter we have discussed once you go through it, and after 2-3 minutes we may recontinue the next part. Let us continue the story. We have already seen that the story is based on the bravery of a tribal girl named Sibia. She has got very difficult life. She did not understand that her life was a difficult one because around her all the people were doing the same way of work as well as same way of life. So she had no complaint about her life because she had not observed what is the easy, comfortable life, luxurious life, that she didn't know. Once she visited the market, she came to know that some different way of life is there in some other part of the world. Like that she observed. Earlier, she had her entire life was related to the forest and the forest people. Here we are going to see another group of people. They were Gujar people. Means the people who are shifting from place to place with their animals. Their major provision is, their major income source is animal rearing. From that, they have two different sources. One is the milk product, and the animals also can be sold in between, and they may get income out of it. So Gujar camp was also there. It is known as Gujar encampment. Means from any other place, they come to the forest area with their animals. The Gujar people, maybe two, three, four families together, and safety of the animals and food for to drink water, the proper source. This all should be there in a place where they settle. So they at present during that summer they live. So this camp was almost nearby in that forest. There were two groups of one and the second one is Gujar people and this Gujar encampment was there. They were not the parents, they were area to another area. Anyway, their camp was almost near to the riverside so that they may get a plain area to their tents. The animals also safely kept there. So, these people mostly early morning when they get up, they divide into three groups. The first group may take care of the family, their children, and the animal at home. And children and animals all will be taken by these ladies, and at the same time children, the young animals all will be there in the camp itself. The second, the other two groups most of the members and animal rearing, they have to take care of the animals, the protection of the animals, and all the mother and the animals should not go beyond their control. Like that, so many duties they have to take care of. So these are the major income source. Mostly ladies staying at a place where they have the camp. Second group, the two groups are there. One group go to the sell their products in milk products. Third group is to take care of the animals when they are rearing far away, and to take them to the far places and take them back. And during their journey, they have to count them. Take them back next time. Income sources already milk and milk. The second is animal. As we know that according to Indian culture, people mostly vegetarian. Various people are there, especially 100 years. Most of the people interested to have non-vegetarian food was very rare. The help of useless animals means those who are not able to give proper amount of milk, or male unhealthy animals were there with this Gujar group, and they were ready to sell it, and the villagers were ready to buy it to make a trap for the wild animals. Like that, they were able to get another income source. Means major income source was milk and milk products, and sometimes they sell their unhealthy animals for making animal traps. Then these Gujar people mostly interested to stay in a particular place for a short period of time, but sometimes they may shift from one place to another very often. Very short period of time they may stay there. That means if they are attacked by wild animals, that means their own safety and their animal safety is at a risk. They may shift from that place to another place. Second is the rare availability of grass. It means surrounding area is not proper for the growth of grass, and the animals are not able to get proper amount of grass, green grass for the animals. And third, the availability of water. If the availability of water is very less and the water is not proper for them, then also they may shift from one place to another often. Otherwise, if the place is very proper for them, then try to stay there for a long period of time. Long period of time means not more than a year. More means 6 months or more they may stay in a particular place. Within 6 months is the brave deed done by Sudhya in her young age. Once Sudhya, her mother and other tribal ladies, after afternoon means almost near to evening, till that time only they have finished their household work. After that, all of them plan to go to cut paper grass for their extra income. Paper grass nearby area totally they have cut and sold. So it was not available nearby. The only availability of the paper grass was the other side of the river. These tribal people were living in one side of the river, far away from the river, and the paper grass was available only the other side of the river. This time it was easy for them to cross the river because, as I have told, it was the summer season, so they were able to cross the river. Whenever they want to cross the river, they have the habit of coming together as a group because there various wild animals in the forest and in the river were there, and if the ladies come in a group, these wild animals would not have the courage to attack them. Otherwise also they are having the habit of making lot of noise. They were talking each other, they are quarreling, abusing and making lot of sounds. This sound may keep the wild animals away from the people, from these Gujar ladies, and they were mostly safe. And Sibia is having the habit of observing, and very curiously she was observing and looking each and everything on the way. And her mother warned her not to keep away from the group, because it will be very dangerous and it will be critical for her. Still, she tried to keep away from them, so that she wanted to enjoy in a different way, and she was the youngest one in the group. While they were traveling from their home to the river, on the way, by the side of their way, they saw the Gujar encampment. Some ladies and a few animals were there in the camp, and these ladies observed them, and they did not have any close contact with them. Just they observed, and they continued their journey towards the river. The river was, already I have told you, the river, the water was very low, and It was very easy for them to cross the river because they can jump from one stone to another. Like that, by jumping from one stone to another, they can reach at the other side of the river. When they entered into the river, a large number of crocodiles were there, big and small, various part of the river banks. But they were very silently staying there. But some of the small ones kept away from them. They jumped, some jumped into the water, some ran away from there. But big crocodiles stepped backward so that they should not be attacked. They thought that there was a danger nearby them because their shouting sound was too much. But one of the crocodile was there, the biggest one. It was around 12 feet long and around 200 kilogram weight. So it was the biggest size there. And these all crocodiles eaten up all the creatures and small animals nearby them because they were huge in number. And if a creature come to the riverbed, they all may attack them and eat them. Mostly they depend upon various animals. The crocodiles main food, the big and small, all depend upon forest deer, monkeys, then cattle, that means domestic animals even, domestic cows, buffaloes, like that animals, then forest dogs and dead bodies. These were the food for the crocodile. Then almost all the animals were forced to come to the river for drinking water, especially during summer. They have to come to the river. From where they may drink water, these crocodiles know very much. Very well they know. So they mostly depend upon these animals, and nearby the water source they may keep very silently and almost in a sleeping mode. They stayed there. Sometimes these animals, mainly deer, monkeys, and cattle, may come and drink water. When they drink water, their attention may be in the water and water drinking. The same time is the most suitable time for these crocodiles to do their attack on it, and sudden attack may catch the animal and then draw their animal or pull their animal towards the water, and that will be killed. So like that these animals were caught. But this availability of animals, very rare and very carefully, these crocodiles should stay there. But number of crocodiles were more, and all were not able to get these many animals for them to eat. So they depend upon dead bodies. The writer very specially criticized Indian people for this particular religious belief. In India, people, mostly Hindu people, mostly believe that if any relative dies, the dead body should be carried to the bank of the river, especially river Ginna, and other sacred river also they may prefer. And they may do the arrangements for the cremation on the bank of the river. But it itself is a business for the people, those who have taken the cremation contract by the side of the sacred river. People from far off place may reach there, they may not know how to do the cremation there. So these contractors may take the responsibility and keep the dead body on the set of dry piece of wood, and cover the dead body with a piece of wood, and all the religious then rituals or prayer, all the matters they may do around the dead body. After that, the relatives will be sent back. Then they may act, these contractors may act that they are putting fire, but really they may not put fire there. The relatives will be sent back, the dead body will be taken from there and put it in the river water. The dead body will, the half burned or almost fully burned dead body will be kept in the river, will be thrown into the river water, and the dead body may move from there to far away. And these crocodiles, the river, may get it as their food. So in this particular part, the writer wants to criticize that the people should not do their religious belief in a wrong way. They have to take the responsibility of cremating the dead body in the proper way, in the proper place. The duty should not be given to somebody else. They would not give proper respect to the dead body. They may try to get maximum money from their limited resource, and the dead body will not be respected, and it will be thrown to the river. But these all explanations are not given in the story. That much only given. Dead bodies are available in the river water often, and when the water in the river carry dead bodies from far away place, and these crocodiles eat it, and because of these dead bodies, they may grow very fast, and they may become a matured big crocodile. The big crocodile, only one big crocodile was there that also grow from the young age by consuming such a dead body, such availability of dead bodies here and there. Anyway, these are the situation in the river bank, but these ladies were not afraid of these crocodiles, because they used it to pass through the same way, and the crocodile never attacked them, and they were in a group and reached the opposite side of the river. Then they had to climb up a small hill, and at the top of the small hill, the availability of paper grass was there. So they did it accordingly, and they all climbed up to the top of the hill. When they reached there, Sibia was not interested to cut the paper grass there. She was interested to make clay pots in the nearby cave. She already found out a cave nearby the paper grass, and she went to the cave to make more new pots, and she wanted to know the present condition of the clay pot she already made. While she was enjoying the making of clay pot, her mother called her to do her work. Till that time, almost all the ladies completed their work, and they all made their bundle of grass, and some already kept it on their head and started their return journey. Then Sibia started her work very fast, and she used her hair fork. Hair fork is an instrument, a long stick with three or four nails, and it was like the spoon and fork, which is used to eat noodles. The same shape it is, but it is not for the same purpose. The hair fork is used for search inside the grass. The various creatures and animals, especially snakes and all, may be there inside. So to keep them away from the grass, They all had carried a hair fork with them, and Sibia also had one. And she kept the hair fork inside the grass here and there, and she made it the surrounding safe for her to cut the grass. Then very fast she cut the grass and made the bundle. After making the bundle, she kept it on her head and she started her return journey. When she looked down, nobody was nearby. Almost all the ladies in her group reached the other side of the river because they had completed their work earlier. She was late and she was not able to complete her work earlier. Her mother also left her and told her that to come back soon. And when she uh, reached by the side of the river, all the other ladies reached the other side of the river and they were passing through the forest way and immediately they disappeared among the trees and plants. And that means Sibia was alone and she did not have the feeling of loneliness because these all were happened in her life earlier too. So it was not a new experience for her. She carried the heavy load on her head and she slowly reached almost at the middle of the river. She thought that she had to take a rest. She kept the bundle on a rock, on a big stone at the middle of the river, and she started taking rest there. She kept the hair fork in her hand. Suddenly, she heard the sound of a lady who was crying bitterly. She looked at the place where the sound came. Then she understood that a Gujar woman came to the river to collect water from the river, and the girl was attacked by the big crocodile, and the crocodile caught on her foot and it pulled down towards the river. The girl caught on a big wooden piece there. It was carried by the flood water last rainy season. So it was very horrible situation and a very dangerous situation. And Sibia was the only person who observed it because nobody else was nearby. She immediately took her hair fork and ran towards the place where the crocodile attacked. She understood that it was not possible to save her easily from the crocodile's stronghold. And if she throw a stone or use a stick on the crocodile, nothing will happen because the crocodile was very big in size. The thick, very hard and thick skin on the crocodile's body may not have any effect. So only possibility was to attack on the eye of the crocodile. So she very carefully used her hair fork on one eye of the crocodile, and the attack was very, very clearly ended into. That means the nails, two nails of the fork ended into the eye of the crocodile. So the crocodile was not able to bear the pain, so it automatically opened its mouth so that the girl was freed from. But the girl was not able to save herself because already heavy bleeding was there. She was totally afraid of, and she was almost fainting. So the Sibia went nearby her and caught on her shoulders and kept her by the side of the river, means on the river bank, kept her and did the first aid. The first aid was not as we are thinking. First aid was the clay itself, the river clay. She took in her hand and pasted it on her wound where the long teeth of the crocodile ended in, and heavy bleeding also was there. There she pasted so that the bleeding may be stopped. Then she informed the Gujar camp that one of the girls from their camp was attacked by the crocodile. The people from the Gujar encampment brought a raw structure and came to the girl and carried her to the camp first, and from there she was carried to the doctor, and she was saved from there. Siddhya came back to the river bank, and she wanted to get back her hair fork and the bundle of grass. When she took the hair fork from the water, she saw a stone, a colorful stone was lying there. She tried to get it. It was not very easy for her to take it from there because it was almost complete darkness. Earlier it was evening time, and during the attack from the crocodile and her courageous deed, and she went to call the Gujar people. This all took a lot of time. So almost the darkness spread everywhere. So it was not very easy for her to pick up the stone from there. Anyway, with a lot of difficulty, she took it out, and it was a blue stone. And as she was expected, as she dreamed to make a necklace for her, for her neck. She had already planned. She had made half of the necklace, and she decided that this stone will be the center of the necklace, and she would be able to make a very beautiful necklace. She was very happy, and she kept the stone by the side of her skirt and went to the grass bundle, and she took it and went back home. On the way, her mother was coming towards her because she was very late, and she wanted to know what had happened with her daughter. On the way, she met her mother, and the mother was very angry and asked about the reason of her late coming. She says that she came late because she was finding the blue stone from there. It was very difficult to get it from the river. That was why she was late. Really, she was not ready to explain all the matters because she did not think that her deed and her courageous deed was not an important one. Her important thing in her life was she was able to find a blue stone from the river. So that was her important matter in her life. So she explained about it, and both together went back home. There the story came to an end. So now it is clear that Blue Bead is only a part of the story, a very, very rare part of the story. The important part in the story is the bravery Sibia had shown to save the woman. That was the central idea of the story. So these are the stories. So from the beginning to end, once you have to read it, the order of the story may not be as I have told. For the easy way, I have described it. And when you read the story, you may completely, when you read it, then you can understand that what I told is the correct order of the story. So that's all today's class. So we will see next day with the next poem, The Patriot. We will do next day.